And we are live.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the WMMA Today podcast on a Thursday, not the Wednesday. Um, we have a pretty good lineup going. We will be talking about one Unbreakable, three recap, USC Vegas 18 recap with a couple fights, and then some news, Twitter questions, of course, and a UFC 258 preview. And then, of course, anything that you guys want to talk about in the chat, bring it on. We always like your comments, and so yeah, let's go. Let's get it going with the one recap. One Unbreakable 3. Eliana Rosiana beat Stamp Fairtex. Pretty crazy, actually. I was pretty shocked. I didn't watch the fight, but I was fucking shocked that Stamp Fairtex lost this fight. It was a third round submission by guillotine, as you can see right there at the bell. Right there in that picture. Fucking crazy, man. Couldn't believe that she got submitted.
It was definitely wild, and especially a little bit of some controversy to it, kind of. Not really, just controversial reactions, I suppose. But yeah, it wasn't what I expected. I expected Stamp to win, but knew that there was no doubt that Rosohina was the most legitimate, the best fighter that Stamp has fought so far in MMA, and
Yeah.
a submission specialist with 10, I believe 10 arm bars on her record. Like, she was definitely capable of pulling this upset off, and I was really thinking about leaning towards her for the upset, but I was like, Stamp just looks too sharp. And in that fight, we saw that was pretty much the case. She was on her way to a victory, and I did not realize initially that this happened right at the final second. I was like,
Right
oh
at
my
the bell.
god, that's
Yeah, at the bell. It was right at the bell.
brutal, just brutal stuff. But yeah, no, Stamp looked really good in this fight and was winning.
She would have won the fight had she not been submitted
Yeah,
at the bell.
yeah, definitely. And she looked pretty good everywhere in this fight too. Like on the ground, leading up to
Yeah,
this, like she was
she
fending
looked
off
fucking phenomenal.
submissions, she got mount a couple times. Like, yeah, it was a very good performance from her, and it still is a good performance even in defeat. It just ended very oddly. How she tapped when she was clearly not out, and then the confusion about it afterward.
Mhm.
I know that she did an interview. Shout out to Leon Jennings at Asian Persuasion MMA. I know she talked to him right after, and I don't know if she said like I'm sure she explained it, but I didn't watch the whole thing to see if she said like that she thought the fight was over already because of how close the time was to being over.
Right.
But that's what it looks like, right? Because she kind of celebrated after tapping
No,
and
dude.
like
Yeah, she got up and jumped around.
yeah,
Like she put her hands up, like she won the fight.
yeah, it was strange scenes, strange scenes right there. Um, but yeah, the funny thing is too, like I don't think that Rasuhinia looked terrible in this fight either. Like she had some moments and was able to get stamped
Yeah.
down and land some solid shots, but she just wasn't winning it. She was not being more effective for more time than Stamp was, and in the end, secured a guillotine that was tight enough to make Stamp have a little mental lapse of fear, maybe, or just confusion with the the timing of all things, which still early in her MMA career and getting in positions like this. So she will learn, obviously, and very big upset in the one atom weight ranks because Stamp is ranked number 5 in their divisional rankings. Well, Rosohina, I believe this was her one debut, and so she wasn't ranked and everything. Big deal, especially ahead of the possible tournament that they want to do where
I don't know,
Stamp
man.
is going to be in that. But now they have to do a rematch.
Yeah,
That's going to happen.
they have to. They have to do a rematch after that. I mean, just because of the way that it ended. Like, Okay, so she had her obviously in the guillotine, but I don't. After seeing like the ending or whatever, I didn't see Stamp tap or anything. I mean, did she?
She very
Did
clearly
you?
tapped. She very clearly tapped. Yeah.
But as she was going out,
She wasn't unconscious, no. That's why it's weird. That's why the whole thing's kind of weird. Because right after tapping and then the ref saying, they calling it off, then, she did that brief celebration like we mentioned. So,
yeah.
yeah, it's just a big weird. It was a very weird ending, but
I guess I should go back and watch it. I just saw the clips, you know.
yeah, it was definitely a tap and just a big
Okay.
confusing mess. It's a legit win for Rosohini. Let's put it that way. But when it was still a comeback at the same time, so and
One's
an
gonna want
upset.
to.
So
One's gonna want to go again.
oh yeah,
They don't want Sam to lose.
yeah, that was definitely not the ideal way for her to you
Yeah.
know lose her undefeated record.
No,
So
it sucks for them.
especially ahead of a potential tournament, it's
I
yeah,
mean,
it was
and maybe
something.
they can just do the tournament and they'll fight
Yeah,
in the tournament. You know,
yeah, that's a great idea. Make it a part of the tournament, definitely.
the
If they're
first
gonna do it, if they're gonna do
yeah,
the
the
tournament.
first fight in the tournament for each girl, and I mean, it is what it is after that.
Oh
You know,
yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great idea. For some reason, I didn't even think about that. Just because the tournament's not official yet, and
yeah,
Angela's getting, I'm pretty sure she's getting pretty close to actually having the baby now. So it's like, but then of course you got to wait. So I guess the time for her to recover after labor and all that stuff will add extra time to do the tournament, depending on how they're going to set it up. Like, there's still so many questions about the setup to that tournament and everything. But
yeah.
hypothetically, it's a fun idea, and I like what you just threw at us there. So
I don't know.
we'll see.
One kind of they throw things together pretty quickly and very well. That's one of the best traits about them is they put together fight cards quick, very fast.
Yeah,
So I think that if they were to do a tournament, then I mean we would hear about it as they were like right when it's about to go down, like a month before or something like that.
mm.
And then depending on Angela Lee, I guess.
Yeah. That seems like the big question mark with how long they've waited, and the fact that there may be some so he hum complications. I don't have any news or updates on that, but last I heard, she's still, she's still a part of one now. She's not the rising champion anymore.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
like, I don't know exactly what's going on with that, but there's some sorting out to be done. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But either way, that is not the end of tournament talk tonight, everybody. But it is the end
No.
of
Thank God.
one Unbreakable 3. So interesting stuff there. Always something to talk about with one these days.
Crazy. It's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah.
One is amazing.
I'm looking forward to April. I'll tell you that much. What a month for MMA that's going to be.
Dude. It's just April and into March or March
Whew,
and April. Yeah. Yeah.
looking good.
Fucking amazing.
Props to these promotions for making these things happen in these wild times, because there's
For
some
sure.
excitement, assuming it all holds up. That's the big
Yeah.
thing about it too. But either way, those weren't the only fights we had this week, Steve, are they?
No. So we had UFC Vegas 18 where Carol Rosa beat Jocelyn Edwards by unanimous decision. Kind of shocking that Jocelyn Edwards lost that fight. I mean, we hyped her up last week,
Yeah,
and
we did.
there she goes losing to Rosa. But you look
Yeah.
at those total strike numbers: 175 total strikes for Rosa. Like who we didn't see that. Those takedowns, 4 of 6, taking down Edwards, 4 of 6. That I mean, like she was control 11 minutes. Like, dude, that was dominance, straight fucking dominance.
Yeah, that was a little bit of coming out party. Just overall fantastic showing for Carol Hosa, who makes it 3 in a row in the UFC very
Yeah,
quietly, right? Because it's been a little bit spread out with the Julia Avila
yeah,
cancellations. Which, goodness, that would still be a fantastic fight, but it might be cursed. So maybe let's just go move past that unless we have to have it one day. But it would be a very fun matchup still. Yeah, she looked awesome, man. We didn't really expect it just because the momentum and seeing believing that Jocelyn Edwards could ride that wave, and she's still on the feet. Edwards still looked pretty solid, and of course,
yeah.
cracked Rosa a couple times, and we had that weird cut like on the in the corner of her mouth or whatever, and it made for some very cool pictures that we saw, and a little bit of bloody mess there on the mat, but it was the grappling and just the pressure that Hosa utilized to
Hmm.
make just make Jocelyn Edwards very uncomfortable. And getting a bit of an echo here. Hold on. I don't know where that is coming from. Yeah. As Waleed says right here, welcome Waleed. Exactly what we needed at bantamweight. A little bit of a injection there with that
Yeah,
well-rounded performance and just showing a very complete game. She looked great everywhere, and it was the fact that she could mix up her grappling and striking so well that I think is
dude,
what gave Jocelyn the
that,
problems.
that 11 minutes of control time, she that was fucking amazing from her. I didn't see it. I mean, neither of us saw it going this way. I don't think anybody saw it going this way. But I mean, it's like Waleed said, it's exactly what the bantamweight division needed. We've been talking about how stagnant that division is, especially at the bottom. Like we know how good the top is, the top 10 or so, even going into the top 15 to 15. But other than that, like the unranked fighters, not so good lately.
And there aren't even that many of them. Like there's only like 22 fighters in the
Yeah, I
division or
mean,
something.
yeah, but I mean, now Carol is ranked number 14. She's right above Avila now, which is
Right.
fucking crazy because they were supposed to fight a couple of times. Um, so now there's fresh new blood finally in the bantamweight division. We haven't seen that for a very long time in the rankings.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I think last time we
it goes
saw it
both ways.
was with
Yeah.
Panny Pinzon.
Yeah. And I mean technically Julia as well, but of course she had the setback in the last fight, but
Yeah, but she's been there like for a while, I think, though.
I
Like
mean,
it,
we've known about Julia
literally
for
in
sure. Yeah.
yeah,
We've been hyping the Raging Panda and still are. But
for
yeah,
sure.
no, this fight, I think win and lose, both of these fighters, Jocelyn Edwards, Carol Hosa, very good indicators for the future of bantamweight, at least in the short term, because it's only two of them. But like,
Yeah.
there's still a bright future for Jocelyn Edwards, and who knows? Maybe the fight would have looked different if she had more time to prepare, because this was a quick turnaround for her, right? So
Yeah. 2 weeks.
yeah, very short. So
Yeah,
not the worst,
and she went from Abu Dhabi to Las Vegas.
right? Yeah, so that doesn't that doesn't help jet lag wise and all that in that short span of time. But
That's literally one
props
of
to
the
her.
longest plane trips that you can take in the world. Pretty
Wild,
crazy.
wild stuff. But
Yeah, but I mean, she's a gamer. I mean, Rosa, her, like you said, her mouth, dude, she was fucking leaking.
he was spitting it out. There were some badass moments there.
Yeah, she was leaking fucking bad. That shit was gnarly. It was fucking amazing. Loved it.
Yeah, it was one of those weird cases where the fighter who's clearly winning is just the most like hurt looking. Like she
Yeah,
wasn't hurt
it
really at any point in that fight, but it just took. That's the weird thing about MMA or combat sports, right? It just takes like one shot to
just takes one. Yeah,
just
yep.
change the look of everything, the entire landscape of the fight.
But if you took
Um,
a still picture of both of them at that point where she started where she had the blood all over her face, all over her
yeah,
face and stuff, like you would think that she's the loser of the.
exactly.
She was not. You're look at that screen right there. Looking at the stats, she definitely did not lose that fucking fight. I mean,
Yeah.
eye appearance too. Watching the fight, she didn't lose that fight. But if you're looking at the stats, shit's crazy, dude. That control time, all those strikes compared to Edwards, fucking dude, she was pretty dominant.
Yeah, it was one-way traffic, man. I'm very interested to see, what'll be next for her and who they decide to give
I
her.
would
But
love to see that Avila fight. Like,
I
but
know,
I mean,
it's
like
such
you
good.
said, is it just not meant to be? Is
Yeah.
it the Leon Edwards and Hamzat? You know, unfortunately, that fight got scrapped today too. Fuck, dude, that
That's
sucks.
the MMA god saying, "What are you guys doing? Slow down with this guy. You
Yeah,
never should have thrown
yeah,
him up there like that." So,
pretty crazy. Pretty crazy though. He's still having the effects of COVID though.
yeah.
Man, I mean,
Hopefully that,
these are these are fucking the strongest dudes in the world. Like him, Cody Garbrandt is in the same boat. Like a former
mhm.
champion, just fucking just keeps having bad things happen to him because of COVID months and months later.
Yeah. It's can be a very serious thing, you guys. Who would have thought that this wild virus that has been around for a while now is kind of a problematic. So, yeah, wishing Hamzat well and good speedy recovery.
Yeah,
That's
dude,
wild stuff there. But and big congratulations to Carol Hosa, of course.
for
But
sure.
speaking of control time, Steve, there was plenty
Yeah.
more in the fight that came right after that one.
Yep. So Laura Procopio beat Molly McCann by a unanimous decision. Wasn't the best meatball Molly that we've seen. Um, it was the ending was even crazier. Like she left her gloves, she took off her gloves and left him in the cage, and
Everybody jumped to
everybody,
conclusions.
yeah, everybody was like, "Oh shit!" I mean, even I did. Like, I was like, "Oh shit, is she like done?" Like, but
Yeah,
then, but then it was because of her father passing, and
right.
um, and she ended up saying she's not done, which is good. I mean, because she's still a very good fighter. She just she didn't have it in this fight. Procopio just outdid her. And then
Kind of
you
similar.
look at the control time in that fight too. 11 minutes going on to 12 minutes.
Same amount of time.
11:43. Yeah, dude. Uh, total strikes 113, 85 and 113. I mean, not as much as
She
Rosa.
barely missed.
175. Yeah.
Well, they both
McCann,
barely missed, I guess.
McCann was McCann was um, just outdone. Again, another fighter just outdone.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's as I just said right there, like both pretty similar performances from Hosa and Procopio.
Yeah,
And even in one-way traffic, loss for McCann, I didn't think that she looked too terrible. It was just,
she
man,
didn't.
the relentlessness of Procopio was
She was like Gorilla Glue.
Don't get me started on that, man. That story makes me so mad. um, but yeah, no, very good comparison. Almost had control time for the entire fight. Like that's crazy. I mean, both from Hosa and Procopio to have
Dude, wild.
almost full
Yeah, wild.
fight control, which makes me wonder like what the record is for fight control because like you can't control for the entire 15 minutes, but you can get pretty close if you just bull rush somebody, right? So makes
Unless
me
you put
wonder.
Habib Nurmagomedov.
Yeah, or like Prime Chael where he would go for the
Right.
takedown in like five
Exactly.
seconds.
Like, yeah, literally right out the jump. Yeah.
Oh, I love that, man. That was my favorite thing about Prime
Mhm.
Chael is just you always knew he's shooting within 10 seconds and he'd get it
That's
every time. You're like,
exactly why I love
what a
Chael
boss.
Sonnen. I don't love him because I love him because of his fucking his mouth and shit. I love the way he fought. Like
Yeah,
literally the way he fought. It
the
fucking
fearless wrestler,
he's
dude.
a wrestler. Yeah. The yeah, he's a wrestler and he fucking man, I wish he would have beat Anderson Silva. Like as much as I loved Anderson Silva, like I really wish that Chael Sonnen would have been a UFC champion. You know, like, damn it.
In an alternate universe, somewhere out there.
Almost had it, dude. He almost had it. He almost beat the great Anderson Silva.
Gosh. He technically did. He won 5 rounds against him. If you combine both
fights,
fights.
until he didn't. Like he literally won the fight until he didn't. Pretty fucking crazy, man.
God.
I know. It's one of those one of the wildest things in MMA to me.
Yeah.
Because because I'm a fan of Chael Sonnen, and I was pretty fucking heartbroken. Like I love Anderson Silva, but I wanted Chael to win, and he was winning, and he was doing so well and grinding and against the great,
Yeah.
And then he didn't win, and I was like, dude, my heart sunk. It was like, oh, fuck.
That was a very brutal MMA moment, from a fan perspective. Like it's similar to like a football meltdown, which I don't want to get into, but that's what it felt like.
Honestly, I go back and watch that fight about once a year. I think I watch it about once a year because it was so good. The dominance of Chael Sonnen against the great Anderson Silva, it was so good.
He dropped him like 2 or 3 times.
Fucking wild. Like it was wild, bro. Like nobody does that. Nobody did that against Anderson Silva. Nobody fucking did that shit.
Yeah. Madness.
But anyway.
Lara Procopio. Yes, she's a new contender at flyweight. This is just what she needed, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, Molly McCann's a big name.
Yeah, and the time away for Procopio after debuting in the UFC at bantamweight against Hossa. Remember that was her debut actually. So a very close competitive fight. So now at flyweight, making instant noise. It'll be very interesting to see what is next for her as well. But both very solid performances from Brazil at UFC Vegas 18. So good stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, the two fights we didn't get right. We both
we both
picked Edwards, and then we both picked Molly McCann.
Yeah, and we didn't do a preview for Stamp, but we were gonna pick Stamp, and I did pick Stamp in my
100% would have picked
fantasy
Stamp.
league.
100% would have picked Stamp. Yeah, for sure. And so 0 for 3 last week.
Rare for us, you guys. Not often are we just completely wrong. I was pretty comfortable with all those picks too.
Dude, I was totally comfortable. Like I was like, oh yeah, Edwards is gonna fucking wreck. Molly McCann's gonna come out balling. Stamp is Stamp, and she's not gonna get fucking. She wouldn't get touched. No, not exactly what happened.
Well,
exact opposite.
Yep, just how it goes sometimes, people. So, but anyways, speaking of the people, it is Twitter mailbag time, and plenty that you guys have provided for us this week. Thank you so much to those tuning in and who will be tuning in later. You know who you are. All right, let us start with the first one from our buddy, the other Steve, Mr. Headkick Audio himself.
Yeah, so Headkick Audio said Sam Hughes is booked. Fear of the Maverick fight week. Yeah, and we'll get to Miranda Maverick in our preview for this week's card. And thoughts on Britton Hart's win over PVZ, which I would love to talk about. And Drake, I'm glad that Steve brought this up because you weren't going to talk about it at all.
It wasn't on the list.
It was not on the list for us to talk about. Drake doesn't want to talk about bare knuckle fighting whatsoever, and I'm actually really glad that Steve brought this up. And there was another fight.
Ask and you shall receive. Okay.
There was another fight before this that kicked off the card. It was amazing. It was probably one of the best, probably second best bare knuckle boxing fight ever.
What's the first?
Jason
Knight and Lopez.
Jason Knight and the GOAT. Yep. The first fight. The second fight was meh. but the first fight was excellent. It was oh man,
Oh, I forgot that they even rematched.
the first fight was great. So yeah, Bret and Hart. Let's talk about Bret and Hart.
Let's do it. What do you got?
What do you have? What do you have, Trey?
Well, I didn't see the fight, but I of course saw all the after stuff because that was
Because
all
of the
over.
promote?
That
Because of
was
the promote?
all over the feed.
Well, dude, so she beat Paige Van Zandt, a
Yep.
massive name in MMA.
Sounded clear. Was it pretty clear?
She wrecked the girl. Like Paige looked decent, but Bret Hart is a boxer. That's what she
Yeah.
does.
Yeah,
If
no,
it was-
I expected her to win this just
if it
because of
was-
that alone.
No.
Right.
Yeah, if it was an MMA fight, then sure, Paige Van Zandt would have won that fight. But this was bare knuckle fighting, bare knuckle boxing. Bret Hart is a boxer and a bare knuckle fighter. That's what she does. This was a very hard fight for Paige Van Zandt, like in her debut.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was just a money grab for her because supposedly she made $400,000 off that shit.
That seems low.
That
seems
seems
low
high.
for what?
That seems fucking high to me, dude. Because
Well,
in her
not for BKFC standards is what I'm getting at. Just
in
from the
her
knowledge.
debut, it was her debut.
Still, man, they
She had
should
never
shell it
fought
out.
before. She had never fought before. Nobody knows what she's gonna bring. I mean, shit. If she got knocked out, what if she got knocked out in the first 2 minutes of a fight of the fight? Then that's $400,000 down the drain.
Is it though? Because they still attracted all the eyeballs from it.
I would like to see. I would like to see the numbers that pay-per-view did. Because it was a pay-per-view, which is kind of annoying. It's annoying because
How much was it?
they have their I don't know. I don't know.
Got him. We got him, guys.
They have their streaming app, right? Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. What else can you do to me? They have their streaming app, right?
Okay.
They put on shows on their streaming app, live shows on the streaming app, and all of a sudden they want to do this Knuckle Mania thing, and they put it on pay-per-view. It's kind of fucking annoying. It's annoying. But
Because
it's
it's not what they usually do, is what you're getting at.
right. It's not what they typically do. But this was a huge card. I mean, it had Chris Lieben on there who won and retired. Chris Lieben, you're amazing. I had an amazing interview with Chris Lieben for MMA Inc. It was awesome. And then there was that win, which was a great fight as well. And then Bret Hart and Paige Van Zandt was the headliner. Bret Hart took it to her. Plain and simple. She's very good at fighting with her knuckles, with her fists. Very good. She's kind of awkward and a little bit crazy, but I mean, what fighters aren't crazy? You know, I mean, that's
Gotta be a little crazy to fight for a living.
I would think so, right? A little bit.
A little bit.
I liked it. I was into it, but I'm a fan of boxing. I'm a fan of blood and violence, and I don't know. I don't understand why you don't like it.
You know me. I'm not. I need it all. I need all the strikes, man. I need more than just punching.
No, but you like jujitsu now.
True, that is true. But there's just I don't know. I feel like there's more variety to grappling as well. You know,
Not really.
You can only punch to the body and the head, right? It's like I don't know. I just need more. Boxing just doesn't do it for me. I have a slight more interest in bare knuckle because it is more violent and because I know the names more. But again, they're not like these aren't the best boxers in the world or MMA fighters. So it feels watered down to me, right, for the most part.
I'm waiting
I can't
for
try.
a massive name. Paige Van Zandt's a huge name, obviously, but I'm waiting for a very, very big name to sign with them. And I mean, to be honest, I think that's probably what they want. It's just getting somebody to sign.
Yeah, but see, the biggest names are like looking at this as the circus it is, and are actually doing good in what they're good at, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing about it is,
I don't know. They got Paige though. They got Paige, man.
yeah, but
Even though
Paige isn't one of the best strawweights anymore,
even
flyweights,
though
you
she
know.
took the loss, but she's a huge name in MMA.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's like if she was still winning in MMA and doing solid, right? It's like she wouldn't jump ship, even no matter how much money they put out, because her love is still MMA. She's even said that right before this, so
And after it too.
and after it. So
Yeah, she said that she wants to go back to MMA. So
yeah,
I think this was kind of a
experiment sort of.
yeah, I think so. Maybe I don't know what her contract is. I don't know if it was one and done, or if she has another fight or whatever. But I would like to see her fight again. Um, she did decently, and I think that she would get better. She's down at ATT. Um, they're the best gym in the world, man. Best gym in the world. They got the best team in the world. So she's working with who? Tiago
Alves.
Alves. Um, so I mean, she has people that are willing to teach her, and it seems like she's willing to learn. So yeah, I would like to see Paige Van Zandt go again. Britain Hart, she's a character, man. She
She's a
has
feeling, Steve. Just say it.
feelings. She's not a person. She's a feeling. Yep. So she can fight Jenny Savage, who went into the ring, or not went into the ring, but
Phenomenal
threw
security.
a water bottle at her or something like that, and was talking shit. Jenny Savage, another fighter who I interviewed on
That is
MMA.
true. Right, right.
So I would like to see them go. Or who else was around? Somebody else was there.
I don't know. I'm ready to move on.
I know you are. Sam Hughes will get to.
Yes, we talked about that being made last week,
Oh
Steve,
yeah,
Head
that's
Kick
right. We
Steve.
talked
So
about that last week. Yeah,
you can hear those initial thoughts on last week's episode, number 35. And then,
she's
of
fighting
course,
Emily Whitmire.
right. Yeah, filling
For those
in,
of you
which
who do not know, she's fighting Emily Whitmire
I think towards the
in
end of the month, right? One of the,
February.
yeah, I think it's the 27th card. Maybe I'd have to let's see the calendar here. Yeah, I think it's 2 weeks.
Hmm.
I'm pretty
Okay.
sure.
And then Miranda Maverick we'll get to.
Yes, absolutely.
So thank
So,
you, Steve, Head Kick Audio, for those questions.
indeed. Now, on to our boy Yusuf, who popped in early. Are you still here, Yusuf? Give us a comment. And let us know if you are hanging out with us right now. But Yusuf dropped some in the mailbag prior to going on, and could be a deep one we got here. Plenty to unpack.
All right, so rank from 3 to 1 the best WMMA boxer in the UFC.
Read the second one.
Yeah, and then Yusuf said, "Remember Cena versus Punk for the WWE title? It was Punk's last fight on his contract. He won and ran away with the title. Imagine Megan does the same, defend title in other organizations. She pulls some She pulls some NWO shit. Um,
I actually forgot that he said this part in the tweet, but
that's why I was reading it again because I think you sent it very early our time, and I read
right.
it when I was still sleeping, and then now I'm reading it again for the first time. But
That's
rank from 3 to 1, the best WMMA boxer in the UFC.
well, I just want to say about that second part is that first of all, we know it's not gonna it wouldn't happen in that way, right? Where like she still has the belt and everything. Technically, you could be like, yeah, she's the lineal UFC champ bouncing over, but I like the fun the fun side of that one, Yusuf, my man. But all right, so for this first one, which is kind of the big thinker here, ranking from 3 to 1, the best boxer in the UFC. Man, it's funny whenever we think or talk about the best boxers or mention whenever we're previewing a fight of people, whoever it is, and I think about who we mention their boxing the most. The first person that always comes to mind is Irene Aldana, who we always mention when she's on. She's just nearly unstoppable. But then, of course, it's hard. I'm not saying she's number one or anything, but I think she's probably in my top three here. And it's hard not to say. It's still not. It's still hard to not say that Holly Holm. She kind of has to be in here, and then especially after the last performance against Aldana, even though that wasn't like a boxing clinic specifically or anything like that, but Holly Holm obviously has the boxing background and everything. So I think that those two are definitely in there. I'm blanking on a third, really, and maybe you can help me out with a
Grasso,
possible third.
Grasso, dude.
Yeah, I mean that's also. I mentioned Aldana as one of those people that we mentioned their boxing always. Just Lobo Jim, Aldana and Grasso. They go hand in hand with those abilities. So I do like that choice. Are those your three then?
Yeah, I go Grasso, Aldana, Holly.
Okay. Trying to think now about across all weight classes. The Grasso one that is a good pick because if you look back at like the that Carolina fight, man, that is one of my favorite performances in terms of just when somebody is kind of flowing, hitting that Max Holloway flow state that we saw against Cater. Like
Yeah,
that was
beautiful.
similar stuff from Grasso in that Carolina matchup. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I'm trying to rack my brain here through all
Okay,
the
so you can put
divisions.
Panny Canzot up there.
I don't know if Panny would be better than Grasso yet, though.
I don't think
But
so. I honestly don't think so.
right,
You
right.
can put Rose Namajunas up there too. You can
Yeah,
put Whaley
Yusuf
up
just
there. You can also put Whaley up there. But are they
yeah,
better? Are those the three that I just named? You can put Jermaine Durandamy up there too. She has great hands.
right, right.
The four that I just named: Jermaine Durandamy, Penny Kianzad, Rose Namajunas, and Wei Li Zhang. Are they better than Alexa Grasso? I don't think so.
They're everybody you just said, except for Panny, like Whaley and GDR. They're better strikers, right? That's the thing I'm differentiating here is
They're better
like,
strikers, but are
yes,
they better
overall
boxers?
strikers. Yes,
They're not better
specifically
boxers than
boxers.
Alexa Grasso.
I think that, now that you mentioned Jermaine and just thinking about how skilled that she is just at striking of
Yeah,
all kinds,
yeah,
she's
yeah.
probably, she would probably do pretty fine in boxing,
I
So,
I would assume that she would do great in boxing because she's a combat sports athlete. She's
yeah,
like she's the whole thing.
total package. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. With that in mind, I probably would have to slot in GDR then automatically because of
Uh,
how good of a
above
striker she
Grasso.
is. Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
I'm fine. I'm fine with that. Perfectly fine with GDR being above Grasso.
mm,
I just don't think that I've seen enough from Grasso to say
purely boxing,
when
right?
we're talking about
Utilizing her boxing. Yeah.
pure boxing and women's MMA in the UFC. Grasso has been fucking amazing. Aldana, amazing. Holly Holm, champion level boxer. There's no one better. and she showed it. If Aldana would have beat Holly Holm and she would have let her hands go more, then we might be flip flopping those two.
Right.
But they fought already. Holly Holm beat her. She showed great boxing in that fight. So to me, I have to put Holly Holm number one.
Yeah.
And then I guess Aldana and Grasso is kind of a flip flop. I mean, whatever. It's 2A and 2B.
Yeah. I feel like we're probably forgetting people. Of course, there's so many people to choose from, but I like who we have mentioned so far, definitely. What were you gonna say? Something right there?
No, we can put the Shevchenko sisters up there, but they're more Muay Thai.
Yeah,
more,
exactly.
Muay Thai, and we haven't really seen the whole boxing thing from them. But I think if they went into boxing, they would be perfectly fine because again, they're total package fighters.
The big key that really sets apart Holly, Aldana, and Grasso, as we've mentioned here, the thing that sets them all apart from everybody else that we have just mentioned here is their movement is so boxing based, right? Like that's traditional boxing movement that they present. Maybe Holly mixes hers, of course, more with like kickboxing movement and all that, but Aldana and Grasso, just the way that they, can flow and have their head movement more. I would
actually love to see those two girls go into boxing. I mean, I know that the money probably wouldn't be as good as what they're doing now, and stuff like that, because the women's boxing, if you're not Clarissa Shields or Amanda Serrano, you're not getting paid a shit ton. Michaela Meyer, you're not getting paid a ton of money, which is pretty crappy. We saw Heather Hardy, a phenomenal boxer, great women's boxer, go into Bellator, not do very well. She's not doing that great in Bellator, but she's a great boxing champion.
Yep.
It's sad.
Only one loss.
It's sad that the women's boxers don't get the recognition, don't get paid, don't get the hype. The sport doesn't get the hype. The women's side of the sport doesn't get the hype at all.
Yep. Yeah, hard to disagree with that, but all right, I think we narrowed it down for the most part, Yusuf. Like I said, surely forgetting some people. I guess I'll give an honorable mention to Marina Rodriguez as well. Very good hands on her.
Especially in her last fight.
Yeah.
And she, again, her movement is boxing. Her movement is boxing.
Yeah. So good question though. It's one of those thinkers, and always appreciate that. And then
I like Yusuf's questions, man. Like he throws the ones that we actually need to have a real discussion about. Yeah. Like you and I, we have discussions obviously about things, but a question that it's nice having questions come up to us, that we don't think about ourselves until it's asked, until it's asked of us.
Yeah. Yeah, and the more I think about it too, I like that he threw Rose out there. I think Rose is could very well put in there too.
Yeah, she's very good. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think that she's a better boxer than Grasso though.
Man, that would be interesting to see them in a boxing match specifically, but
yeah,
that's fantasy talk. That is fantasy land at its finest. But
if they were in a boxing fight, would you finally watch boxing?
I'd watch that match. Yes. It's funny that I'm so not into boxing, but honestly, the one event that I have gone to and covered was a really good event. That was really fun.
Most boxing events live are great.
Yeah. There was like only one decision on that one. I got really lucky with that.
Yeah, you did.
Great birthday.
You went to a phenomenal card.
That was crazy shit. But Good stuff, Yusuf. Thank you, sir, and thanks for hanging out. And I
Yes.
believe Alex is still here as well. Don't worry, man. We will get to you soon. We got, we got a lot, like I said. But Waleed, who also popped in, maybe he's here. I don't know. I don't know who exactly is here at the moment, but I appreciate you guys. So
It's
we will
pretty
go
quiet
on.
today. The
Yeah.
comments are pretty quiet today.
Yeah, I know. Guys are just chilling, just vibing. It's Thursday,
All
maybe
right.
lower energy, getting ready for the card. But all right, this is kind of this was on the news docket, but I took it out because Waleed getting ahead of the game, my man. So
All
this is
right.
a bit
So
of news and mailbag. Take it away.
he said, Waleed said, how do you feel about Vanessa Mello and Sarah Morris getting released by the UFC after delivering possibly the worst UFC fight of all time? I feel bad for Vanessa because she still won her fight, but she's still not UFC caliber. So you don't feel that bad after saying she's still not UFC caliber. You don't really feel that bad, Waleed. But yeah,
Nice try.
but yes, um, Vanessa Mello and Sarah Morris fought, if you want to call it a fight, um, and then they got released.
Mello actually, that was the last fight on her contract, but they just
Yes,
didn't re-sign
they
her.
didn't
She
resign.
wanted to be re-signed, of course,
Well, of
but
course, she wanted to be resigned.
yeah.
Why wouldn't she want to be resigned by the
I'm just
UFC?
saying. Just
But
saying.
I mean, that's pretty much the UFC saying, "Thank you for your time. You're no longer needed. Your services are no longer needed. You haven't done shit."
I mean, we've gone into depth about these two pretty hardcore the last couple weeks because of kind of the
We're
of
not
just
the we're not
ridiculousness of it.
the bookers of the fights. We're the
No, fine.
talkers of the fights.
Yeah, exactly. So, thoughts on this? Um, it's the right move. It's the right move. Even with the win, like in that kind of win, we knew Vanessa Mello wasn't going anywhere. We'd seen the best of her against other people in the division, and I don't know. It just she got into the UFC initially as a replacement, and then sometimes that doesn't always work out. You're gonna take your shot, of course, shoot your shot, as they say, but it's just it is what it is. This is not. I'm totally fine with it. The fight shouldn't have even happened. It wasn't a UFC caliber fight, right? That's what we said the whole time. They both should have been cut before the fight. Just to be blunt, just throw it out there. Sarah Morris did get cut in the past, and they brought her back as a replacement. That's the only reason she had been around as long as she was. Unless I'm wrong on there with forgetting history or whatever. But and then Vanessa Mello, those two terrible weight losses and 3 fight losing streak. Like I was just baffled by the fact that she got this as
They even
well.
kept her.
So
Yeah, I'm surprised that they even kept her that long.
yeah,
Those two weight cuts misses are
5
bad.
pounds for both
I
of
mean, you
them.
can't do that. You
Incredible.
can't do that shit when you're a low level fighter.
Yeah.
Waleed said, "Would you Bellator pick up Vanessa Mello?" Sure. I mean, I think they probably would, but going off of her,
They really don't
yeah,
need
do
her
they
right
need her?
now.
Yeah, do they even need her? I don't
Well,
think.
she's not making flyweight. No fucking way. There's no- she can fight at featherweight, I guess, but she's not gonna do well there either. Like, I'm
Yeah,
being really hard. I'm being
could you
harsh on
imagine
Vanessa Mello,
Julia
but
Budd fighting Vanessa Mello?
oh god, that would be that'd be a snuff film.
Like, I mean, Vanessa Mello just, I don't know. I guess she can go back to Shuto in Brazil. I don't know.
Hey, I mean, maybe she can turn things around. Like, it sounds. I'm definitely writing her off at this point. I'm just gonna be honest about it. But hey, it's just from what we've seen. What she's 11-8 now, just hasn't looked very good, even in victory in this last fight. Obviously, against somebody who also isn't the best opponent to be taking on. But hey, maybe she can turn things around. I'm not sure how old she is, 31, 32 maybe. But
Maybe she can go to BKFC.
yeah, well, I don't know if they'd want her either. Man, I feel so mean every time I talk about Vanessa Mello. I really I don't I'm just being honest, you guys.
And
I'm
she was
not
the
trying to
winner
be
of this
mean.
fight.
I know. I know. But it's like I don't need to say anything about Sarah Morris because it's like we just kind of know. Like, that sounds mean too. I'm not trying to sound mean to you guys. I don't want to talk about them anymore. It's making me feel really bad. But
Drake's not the mean type.
yeah, not anymore. I used to be a bit of an asshole, but
Yusuf said, I saw Dana today in an interview saying he's looking to book Rose versus Whaley in Summer. Thoughts? Summer's too far off. That's my thought. I mean, okay, I want to see that fight,
yeah,
and
hopefully.
I guess I'll fucking take it because that's what they're giving us. But Summer's too far. It's too far off.
Honestly, yes, what you're saying right there, agree. And because of that, like, I'm just ready to give up on it, man. Like, the fact that they're fucking hanging on to making the Rose matchup specifically is starting to upset me a little bit. Like, I don't think she deserves the title shot in the first place. I've said this many times. Carla, Yan Xiaonan, give it to Carla, man. I know that's the less exciting fight and whatever, but dude, you cannot hold up this division any longer. Like, come on, right? I mean, I feel like it doesn't need much explaining at this point. Like, I don't know
I
what
mean,
is
I'm
going
okay
on.
with Rose getting the title shot against Whaley. I'm fine with that fight. I'm fine with the
Let's
fight.
just make it happen then, right? Like, come
Yes.
on.
I mean, okay, so we've been saying this, saying it, and saying it, saying it. Well, I'm pretty much weekly now. Like, this is a weekly topic for us. Saying let's fucking go book Whaley. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck are you guys doing? She hasn't fought since March. That fight against Joanna was in March. March is in 2 weeks.
It's
We're
gonna be
going
a
on a
year
year.
ago.
We still haven't heard about a fight from her. Now they're talking about Summer. She's going to be off for a year and a half. A year and a fucking half. Almost 2 years. Because God knows what part of the summer. It could be in fucking September. September's
Yeah.
still summertime. August, September. I mean, what part of... Dude.
It's
A year
madness.
and a half. By the time Whaley fights.
And the other thing about it too is, like I mentioned, Carla,
She's
it
ready.
affects her. It affects her even if she doesn't get this fight because now she has her hopes up that it's possible.
Oh, they're fucking with her.
Yeah,
They
like
Dana has literally said that Carla Esparza is the one, and then now he's kind of backtracking and going to Rose because of what? Because of money? Because that's
no idea.
the bigger fight. Well, I mean, you're kind of fucking with Carla Esparza at this point.
Yeah, very
She's
much
still
so.
not booked, and she's ready to fight.
Yeah, she wanted to fight what, like in the first event of the year, right? She was
Yeah,
ready to go.
dude. Again, we're going into March, and she still hasn't fought. Like we're going in month 3 of the year, month 3 of 2021, and we don't know what the fuck is going on with that division at the top.
One of the best divisions in the fucking in the
This
sport
shouldn't be
right now.
happening. Dude. This shouldn't be happening. Like people are all up in fucking arms about Habib, you know, retiring, vacating, whatever the fuck is going on with him. Well, dude, what about Whaley? Make
Yeah,
if she can't fucking fight, make a fight with Rose and Carla, or Rose and fucking Carla and Joanna. I I don't know what's going on with Joanna either. Like she doesn't want to fight either unless if there's fans or some shit. Like
yeah.
all these girls at the top, like they don't want to fight. Whaley can't fight for whatever reasons. Rose is very picky about her fights. Joanna doesn't want to fight because no fans in the building, not packed. Like Carla's getting fucked over. Tatiana's out still. Like, dude, this division is really it's very good, and it's a great division when they're all active, but it's getting fucking tiring.
Yeah. Yeah, it's frustrating. It makes me sad. It makes me very sad because this division is so amazing. But anyway, we will
You
move
you
on.
made us mad.
You made us mad, Yusuf. Nah. It made me sad more than anything.
No,
But
I'm mad. I'm fucking frustrated, dude.
Steve is upset. But all right, final mailbag question. So many to read today. Thank you guys. And good stuff here from Alex as always.
Alex, another three questions from Alex. I love
Mm-hmm.
it. So thank you, Alex. Do you number one? Do you agree with Rosa's number 14, Rosa's number 14 ranking?
Yeah. I let's see. I think I moved her to 14, 15ish in my personal rankings, and those are worldwide. So judging by that, yeah, she definitely deserves to be in there. Just when you look at the landscape of the division and her winning streak that she's on right now, it's what Steve was pretty much saying at the beginning, like new lifeblood, right? Like she's rolling.
Mhm.
It's a rare thing to see for people unranked. Now she's ranked because of what she did while she was unranked. So,
Right.
yeah, I have no problem at all with it. You could maybe say you could argue a little bit higher, maybe. I don't know. What do you feel about it? And
Uh,
Yusuf says we are all mad, by the way.
we're all mad. I think I I'm seeing more people mad about Habib than about Whaley. I'm not seeing a
Yeah,
whole lot about Whaley. People are fucking pissed about the Habib thing. I'm pissed not at Habib. I'm pissed at fucking Dana White for
right.
not leaving him the fuck alone. That's what I'm mad at. Leave the
Like
motherfucker.
put that energy into the strawweight situation, please.
Leave the dude alone. Like vacate the belt. If Habib wants to come back, then put him in title fight.
Yep.
It's not hard. Like make a tournament. Put Poirier against Oliveira. I don't give a fuck. Just do something. That's
Yep.
that division's very easy to settle. Very easy to settle. The
Yep.
women's division, strawweight division, it's a fucking mess at the top. It's a fucking mess. Okay. Do I agree with Hosta being number 14 ranked? Yeah, I'm fine with it. She has she's done what she needed to do to be ranked. She's winning in a division that isn't that great. Um, do I think that she can beat uh, people who are higher than her? Let's see. Cesara Eubanks. Yeah, I think that she probably would give you Cesara a good fight. Panny, I don't know, because we're talking about momentum. Momentum is a very big thing in MMA. Penny's also very good momentum behind her. Lena
Hmm.
Landsberg, she would probably beat Landsberg. Landsberg
Yeah,
is,
definitely.
Landsberg is just too hit and miss, and she's
I
not
think
active.
didn't she just she's pregnant now, isn't she? I think I saw
Yeah,
that.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
She's been away for a
Macy,
while.
that's a tough one. Macy's fucking tough as shit, dude. Tough as shit. She's incredibly tough.
We'll have to
Um,
see how that Renault one goes, but judging by Macy versus Lena, who Landsberg was able to control Macy, I don't
yeah,
seeing that performance doesn't make me like Macy's chances against Hosa, but we got to see how Macy looks against Renault, who
against
will
Renault. Yeah.
probably test that as well. So
Yeah, I agree. So that's the top 10, and
hmm.
she's at rank number 14. We already talked about Julia Villa. They've been booked to fight a couple of times now. I would love to see that fight. I don't think that they do it again. Like
Yeah.
they're probably just as tired of it as we are.
So yeah, it's definitely fine
Yeah,
ranking,
it's good.
Alex.
It's good ranking. Number 2, who has the highest ceiling? Miranda Maverick, Jillian Robertson, Macy Barber, or Alexa Grasso? Rank them in order of best potential.
Tough one. Very tough one there. So let's see. Who has the highest ceiling? Difficult question. And for me, oh boy, it I instantly look at Maverick just because of what we have seen, from her career in the beginning to now and the progression she's made. But at the same time, we still haven't seen probably as much as we need to. Whereas with Grasso, she's the most experienced out of all this bunch, but still quite young and on the come up in a way. Like this fight against Barber is really,
It's a big fight.
yeah, it's
Both
her
of
her,
them.
her second flyweight fight, and she was making waves at strawweight, on her path to everybody thought that she'd be a top contender at some point, and maybe she will be, just not at strawweight. So then with Robertson, for me, if I'm gonna rank them, she's gonna be at the bottom right now, just because we need to see that striking improvement, and she cannot coast off of her grappling alone, and
Right.
improve her wrestling a bit too, because she just kind of was too comfortable being on her back against Tyler
Yep.
Santos that last time out. So at the moment, Jillian is going to be at the bottom for me because we need to see some improvements. Maybe we'll against Maverick. She will need to show that because Maverick is a very tough matchup for her. So, and then Barber is a bit of a wild card too because there's a lot of unknowns about her, like throwing her to Roxy and then losing, and also being injured in that one. Like it's you weren't gonna learn much aside from if she was ready for a top fighter or a veteran, and that's what we learned about it. But it didn't really tell us about how far she can go. She could still go very far. She's only what, 22 now?
She's 22. Yeah.
22. So like it's very tough to tell with Macy, but judging off of what I've seen from everybody and how much what we've been able to assess and what I've liked the most, I think that right now I'd have to go probably Grasso because she's been able to hang with some more higher ranked people than everybody else. Like you look at that Carla fight. Some people thought she beat Carla, right? Like it was a very fun fight, and I don't think she beat Carla, but hey, she hung in
Right.
there and did very well against the former champion, and that's not even the only person. I'm just listing her right off the bat here. So Grasso, I think for me, still has the highest ceiling. We've seen the most from her against the best competition. Grasso. Then I'm gonna say Maverick. We've seen a little bit more from her than Barber, I think. Then I'll go Barber and then Robertson. But that's a very tough one, Alex. And I think I'm most comfortable putting Robertson at the bottom, but I understand cases for everybody else ahead of her. What are yours, Steve?
Okay, so Grasso is still only 27 years old. Um, she has only I think two losses in the UFC. She lost to Carla Esparza, which, I mean, you can go either way. It's fine either way, I think. And then, or no, she has three losses. She lost to Police Harry too, huh?
Oh, that's right. That was a weird one.
Yeah, she lost. Okay, Carla Esparza, Tatiana Suarez, and then Felice Herrig. Everybody loses to Suarez, so that's not a terrible loss. Everybody has her at the top in the strawweight division anyway. Carla Esparza, a former champion, still doing her thing. That's not a terrible loss. Felice Herrig was a bad loss, but that was a long time ago. That was in 2017.
That was when Herrick was kind of getting hot again too.
Yeah, it was. So I think Grasso is number one for me, and then Barber number two, and then so depending on who wins that fight, then you kind of go number one. If Barber beats Grasso, then it's especially because of how young she is. Her ceiling
Yep.
is her ceiling is very, very high still, incredibly high. Macy Barber's ceiling is incredibly high, even with the Roxanne Modafferi loss. I mean, it's a veteran. She just wasn't ready for that fight. Plus, she was injured. I mean, things just happened in that fight. She got beat by a veteran, and she was injured. Things happened in that fight. Maybe that's going to be a learning experience for her. Maybe she'll turn around and do better. We'll see against Grasso. Miranda Maverick is very good, very very good, but we still haven't seen her fight top level fighters yet. Jillian Robertson, for the exact reason why you said, she needs to learn how to strike. Like she can't depend on her ground game and fucking just make it a ground game. This isn't grappling tournament. It's not a grappling fight. It's MMA. You're gonna get pieced up. Miranda Maverick's going. That's not a good fight.
It's funny. I think that we're definitely gonna be able to give a very solid order for this question after Saturday.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We will. We'll for sure. We'll be able to. Yeah. We can come back and talk about this next week. We can bring up the same question next week, and maybe we'll go Barber, Maverick, Grasso, or we can go Grasso, Maverick, Barber, Robertson, or we can go Grasso, Maverick, or Grasso, Robertson, Barber, or I mean,
Depends on who wins.
depends on the fights. Robertson might fucking take it to Maverick. We don't know.
Yeah,
Barber
yeah.
might take it to Grasso. We don't know until we see these fights. Sam said, Macy, and welcome, Sam. Macy's ceiling is high insofar as she's young enough to have a lot of time to potentially learn a lot of things. But how good a student is she, or will she be? I think she's stubborn as fuck. I'm dubious of her growth thus far. I think that she's stubborn as fuck, but it has a lot to do with her family being around and
Mm.
her being the man. Um, I think if she went to she went to another gym, she might be humbled a little bit by real coaches, by real MMA coaches. She might be humbled a little bit. It might, and she might never get. She might. We might never see the potential from her, as long as she has just her dad and her family around. Um, it, it's tough, man. That's a tough thing in MMA.
I don't know. I agree with that. Um, at the same time, though, I like what she said. Oh, was it yesterday or was that today? I don't know. Whenever the
Yeah,
media day was, I like what she said um, about needing more of the focus on her rather than when you're at a big gym and there's all these other stars around you and takes away from you getting that time you need. But then again, you got to be getting your focus from very good people, right? So
yeah, you can. Yeah,
not to say that
exactly.
her coaching isn't not to say that her coaching is bad necessarily, but it's clearly not world class top people, right?
It's
That's
not
what you're
top
getting at.
level, dude. It's not top level, and it. So she's not where Ronda Rousey is. Like, she's not even close to Ronda Rousey. But the same thing was for Ronda Rousey. Like, how good could she have been? How great could she have been had she gone to a better gym and not stuck with fucking Edmund? And that gym, where they weren't teaching her shit. They weren't teaching her anything. She wasn't learning a damn thing. I can see Barber being the same way.
Yeah, time will tell. Time will certainly tell.
Simon says Robertson is flat out bottom of those four names. Yeah. Save for a stellar coming out performance next time out. Her confidence has gone up a bit, but her capability hasn't risen to meet it quite yet. Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, and I think that's the thing with Barber is her confidence. She's been talking about being the youngest UFC champion ever for a very long time. She is Macy Barber is not lacking confidence one bit, not one bit, and she has skills. She's much better than Robertson.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that in the fight.
Right.
We saw that in their fight when they fought. So, um, yeah, it'll all shake out a bit clearer after the event, as I said, you guys. But Good stuff, Alex. And to move on to his third and final question. Who wins between Valerie Ann Marie Soto? What a name! And was it
It's
Flore
honey.
Flore Hani? LFA 99, which I'm assuming is this week. Yeah, that is
It's
tomorrow.
free. It's Mario.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I'm not too familiar with either of these fighters, but of course, a bit of a young versus old matchup. Not old necessarily, but Soto is younger by 11 years, I believe. I don't know. Do you know much about this one, Steve?
Yeah. So Flora Honey, she's 30. She's in her mid 30s, I think.
Yeah.
I'm pulling it up right now. She's 34. So she's been around and she's been around for a while in combat sports. She actually beat Victoria Leonardo
Right.
as an amateur. She lost to Chantal Coates. She was in the Phoenix Series 2.
Oh, that's right.
She lost to Chantal Coates by split decision.
Okay, I remember that now.
And then Valerie Ann Marie Soto. Oh, that is a very cute picture of her on Tapology.
Got the loss to Demopoulos, which not a bad loss, especially in your fourth fight.
Yeah. That's the name, Vanessa Demopoulos for her. So I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm probably going Soto just because of youth, 23, young.
Yeah. And she's got a win over Dirty Des in her amateur record.
LFA probably wants her to win. She's young and very, very cute, very marketable.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for you to say it. Yeah, I don't have a good answer here for you, Alex. I apologize, man.
We failed you.
Yeah, we did, but
we didn't do our homework on that question.
I know. So I didn't have time. I didn't see this till today, and
well, he sent it today, didn't he?
Maybe either way, a lot going on, and I missed that Demopoulos fight too. So I will try and check out that one tomorrow, though, definitely just for you. So yep, stamina with the hashtag marketable there, of course. So, all right,
Marie Soto, marketable.
Yep.
Highly marketable.
I assume that she might be a jiu-jitsu practitioner because of the nod there, Alex. I know you're into the BJJ prospects, and how can you not be? It's all right. Yeah, very big loaded mailbag there, you guys. We're over the hour mark and haven't even got to the news yet, so we don't have a lot, so it's all right. But appreciate that greatly as always. And all right, we will move right along here to just two news bits, and then our UFC 258 preview as always, you guys. All right, we talked about tournaments off the top, and we're about to talk about them more.
Love
and
it.
some interesting stuff. PFL officially back.
Fucking love tournaments, man. I'm into it.
Well, tell us what we got, Steve.
Okay, so we're gonna have the 2021 women's lightweight division tournament. As you can see there, it's Kayla Harrison, Mariana Moraes, Jenna Fabian is back, Larissa Pacheco is back, Cindy Danwa is making her PFL debut, and Laura Sanchez, the wrestler, is boxer. She's a boxer. Laura Sanchez, the boxer.
Kolesnik with the debut.
Kolesnik with the debut, yeah. And then Julissa Pajic with that beautiful neck tattoo. That thing's a beast.
I think I saw you talking about that on Twitter with somebody.
I did talk about that on Twitter. Yep. Love it. I love that tattoo.
Initial thoughts on the lineup here, Steve?
Come on. Initial thought. There's not much to think about.
Who's Kayla Harrison gonna fight in the finals?
Um,
Right?
I guess
Cindy?
e- or Cindy or Delisha. Yeah,
See a
Delisha.
Pacheco rematch, a Pacheco trilogy, right? It would
I
be.
don't want to see that, dude. I think PFL probably wants Jenna Fabian to be in it.
Yeah. You know what's
Marketable.
insane to me? What's insane to me is Mariana Moraes. If you got
Mhm.
also an Invicta alumni, if you guys remember who are watching, who follow Invicta closely, and Steve, I'm sure you will remember too, as I'm getting to the point here, she used to be a flyweight.
She was, dude. It's
It's an
pretty crazy.
125 pounder. She's at lightweight now. And I didn't
Yeah,
realize that her last two
she
fights or
beat
so,
up.
yeah, were she's won at lightweight before this. Her last two fights, I believe. But that's fucking insane to me. she's she's now in a lightweight tournament after facing the likes of Vanessa Porto and I believe she fought somebody else in Invicta too. But like that's just crazy. That's just nuts. A
You
big
know what
jump.
else is crazy? Laura Sanchez.
Is she? I am unfamiliar because you said
She's a
boxer. Is
former.
this her
She's a
debut?
former um, college basketball player. She's like 6'4".
Really?
Yeah,
That's pretty wild. That's pretty wild too. Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So I
Has
mean,
she fought in MMA before though? Don't know. Did you just say that and I missed it?
what?
I said, has she fought in MMA before?
Yeah, she's like a amateur champion or something like that.
Okay.
Let me look it
Jeez.
up really quick.
Stamina here saying, Julija will never not make me chuckle as a pronunciation. Enjoys that one. Um, Waleed coming in. Will this be Kayla's last tournament in PFL? She said that she was frustrated with the PFL in 2020. How could you not be? And will be considering free agency. I think most likely. Very, very likely, especially as she's tested the waters and wants to be more active. Like what she can get as rich as she can and then bounce, right? Like win another one here, which is most
She's
likely
got to
gonna
move on,
happen.
dude. Yeah, you got
You
to move
gotta.
on, man. You got to
She's
move
already
on.
talking shit back and forth with Cyborg like this
She
month.
is.
Like
Yeah. Okay, so
that's
Laura
that's the
Sanchez.
fight to make. Laura
Yeah, Laura
Sanchez, yes.
Sanchez. She's 1-0. 1-0.
1-0 pro.
1-0 pro,
Okay.
but she had 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 amateur fights and only lost once, and that was actually in
Okay.
LFA. Um, so she's 30 years old. Like I said, she was a basketball player. She's 6 foot, so not 6'4" like what I thought, but I knew that she was tall.
Yeah. All right. And she's the only. Oh, never mind. I thought she was the only American for a second,
But
um, but yeah, interesting. Very interesting. And I'm surprised to see. It's funny. I was actually. I don't remember why, but I was looking at. I was trying to see what was up with Helena Kolesnik or Olena now. I guess I don't know. Kolesnik. I was looking. I wanted to see what was up with her like last week or whatever. Like, oh, well, look, she's back and she's in the PFL now. So, if you guys will remember, she. What did she fought? I know she fought Felicia, but that was that wasn't for the title, was it? It might have been for the title, but either way, fought Felicia Spencer was supposed to fight Megan when Megan was champion, but then Megan got signed to the UFC, all that business.
yeah,
Um, yeah, so Kolesnik back here, up in weight, known for her striking. Would be fun to see her against Fabian right out the gate.
that would be fun.
Cindy
I don't think that
Dandois.
I don't think that they'll do that though.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see how that works out. But
I don't think that they want Jen and Fabian to get.
who beat her last time? I know she was in the last one.
Yeah, and she only did she even win one fight?
I don't think so. I remember watching it. I don't
Yeah,
remember who it was
I don't
against
think
though.
that she. I don't think that she won.
You know, I don't know.
Again, she's highly marketable, so I mean,
again, let me just put it out there. Stamina says here, cheeky wench, however frustrated she would theoretically be, PFL really put her on. They went over and above to accommodate her. Can't know what the paperwork said to know how they failed her, though. Speaking of Kayla Harrison, of course. So, yeah.
Okay, so Jenna Fabian, what is going on here? So she lost.
It doesn't say who.
No, she lost to Bobby Joe.
Dalziel.
And then she beat Morel Traneski
All right.
with punches. And then
The point
with
system.
Kayla Harrison, and then a fight with Kayla Harrison was canceled. Oh, that's right. Was it because of the points?
Yeah.
But a fight was canceled with Kayla Harrison and Fabian. What happened with that? Is that when Larissa Pacheco had to step in?
No, because that was the finals, right? And Fabian wasn't going to be in the finals, so I don't know. I think we're looking too deeply into it either way because we know who's going to win. So we know Kayla Harrison is going to win again, but dark horse for the tournament. I mean, I guess technically we know the least about Jalija, so she could very well be the dark horse, but
She's good.
unless Cindy, I haven't been keeping up with Cindy too much lately, but
She hasn't fought.
that's why I guess she's got her
She's
stuff going on.
She's a teacher.
She is a teacher. She's doing her stuff outside of the cage, but most experienced person in this entire tournament. I think that is always helpful. We'll see. So probably gonna be Pacheco or Dandua again that get there, but we know who's gonna win. So
I don't want to see that Pacheco fight again, dude.
that trilogy, yeah.
I really don't want to see that.
We'll see.
I think if we see Kayla Harrison and Pacheco again, I'll just say fuck it and not watch anymore.
Like, all right, I'm done with this. Thank you for your time.
Like I really don't want to see that fight again. I really don't.
Yeah, that would be pretty lame. But anyway, moving on to our final news of the day, you guys, or of the week, I should say. We got one fight announcement. Yeah, because the tournament, those weren't fight announcements. That's just the participants being revealed. So here's our one fight announcement.
Polyana and Botello will fight Ji-Young Kim on May 1st, my birthday. So we are getting fights on my birthday. And if you guys didn't see it, Yuri Prochazka and Dominic Reyes is the headliner. The MMA gods better not fuck this shit up for me. They better not fuck this up. I want to see Yuri fight on my birthday.
What a present that is.
But this is a good fight as well. I like this fight. It's fun.
Yeah, no, this one should be very interesting. Polyana Botello coming off of the loss to Jillian Robertson, which was a fight that she really, early on, she started pretty strong in that first round, and then Jillian was able to kind of, just start absorbing and getting more comfortable with the strikes that Polyana was landing on her, and then get her to the ground, and, Jillian did her thing from there. But against Ji-Yeon Kim, who is coming off of that loss to Alexa Grasso, we know how tough that she always has been on Fire Fist, right? Yeah, this is a very interesting one, and I think it should probably play out mostly on the feet, unless Botello, wants to take it to the ground. But as we've seen throughout her career, that's not her strongest point necessarily. So, I'm fine with this matchmaking completely. Both of them, coming off losses, need a win. So, what were you going to say there?
No, I said I like this fight.
Yeah, solid matchmaking between two still young prospects, kind of still looking to find their footing, right? Like, I'm not ready to count out either of them yet as people who, that we have seen the best of. I don't think that's the case just yet for either of them, but
right.
Yeah, still more to see, I guess. You know, they haven't proved themselves to the best of their abilities just yet. So yeah, I'm fine with this matchup. I look forward to it on the birthday boy's birthday. Good stuff there. All right, and that will do it for our news. Now it is on to a trio of some pretty solid action here, I would
Yeah,
say.
this card is not the best pay per view. UFC 258 is not the best pay per view, but it has really fun matchups,
Yeah,
top to bottom. The the prelims are actually a lot of fun.
this comment.
Stamina said we favor Kim here based on not much. Yeah, I mean,
Just
yeah,
cause
I mean it's based on not very much, but it'll be a fun fight, I think.
I think that there has been maybe some more consistency shown with Kim, even
Okay,
in defeats. So
absolutely, yes,
I like what you're saying there, stamina. I get it. I get it.
yeah, yeah. I get that as well.
So, all right, UFC 258 time, banger of three matchups here between all pretty prospect rangy kind of fighters. But first one at 125.
Is this the first fight of the card?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So
Okay.
Jillian Robertson will be taking on, as we talked about earlier, Miranda Maverick. Um, yeah. How do you see this going? I think we talked about this. We kind of talked about it already. You
Yeah, I
know?
feel like we broke it down when it was announced. I
Yeah.
feel like,
And then we
because
talked about it today again. Like the
right.
Jillian Robertson not doing too
Well,
great
yeah, that's
on the feet.
it's I think that's the thing about it is like there's not a whole lot to break down about it because we know exactly where both of their strengths lie. But the thing is,
Mm,
Miranda Maverick's strengths are more
better.
spread out
She's
across
better.
her yeah,
Yeah.
across her skill set.
Like
Whereas
rounded out, she's the better fighter.
yes, absolutely. Yeah, she can hang absolutely everywhere. Whereas we've seen Jillian Robertson is not she's unbalanced in her strengths and skill sets, right? As I was just saying right there. So, and the thing with Maverick too, like early on throughout her career as she was coming up to Invicta, was that she was able to really dominate people and just make it ugly on the ground and get them down and beat them up, the ground and pound, the vintage Fear the Maverick style. But she's really coming to her own in the striking department, as we saw in her UFC debut. Didn't even need to bother with the ground game against Jojua. So this really, I think, is just not a good matchup for Jillian Robertson unless she is severely improved. The areas that she needs to, her takedown defense, I guess, as well as her striking, of course. So I don't think that this bodes very well for her. I don't think that she'll be able to take Maverick down. I think Maverick's grappling defense and offense is good enough to do whatever she wants in that area, but it's obviously safer to not play with the jiu-jitsu of Jillian Robertson. So, yeah, I think that Maverick should win this one fairly comfortably, unless Jillian surprises us with some improvements, which hopefully, that would be great to see, and it's competitive, or, she just turns things around after these last
I
two
honestly don't
performances
think
that
so.
she's seen. Yeah, it's
I this is it's a very tough matchup. Miranda Maverick's very tough. We talked about this, like you said, when they made the fight. I think it's a very tough matchup for Jillian Robertson. I don't like it for her. I like her as a
right.
fighter, and she's nice and all that. Miranda Maverick's a monster, dude. Like
Hmm.
she's very tough, an incredibly tough fighter to beat. Jillian Robertson's not going to have a good night, I don't think.
Yeah, it's it just comes down to the better overall well-roundedness of the
Yeah,
games, right? Which is heavily in favor of Miranda Maverick from what we've seen.
yeah, for
Her
sure.
ability to fight pretty much anywhere so far, of course. It's you can say that Robertson has fought the better competition, but Maverick has fought, decent enough, I think, to say for us to believe in her. And I mean, especially for like you and I who have watched essentially her entire career, like we've seen her from
Yeah.
the beginning, and she's always been somebody who we knew was going to go places, and she's finally getting that chance to, you know, show that she is there, and somebody to fear the Maverick. So I'm taking Miranda Maverick. I think. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if she catches like a third round rear naked choke. As crazy as that might sound to submit the black belt, but um I've always been a believer in Maverick, man. She's here
Yeah.
and she is confident. I'm gonna take
Yeah.
Maverick by third round sub. I'm
We were
calling it.
talking about confidence with Macy Barber. Miranda Maverick is a very confident fighter as well. She's not that bitchy type of confident though. You know, Miranda Maverick is confident in her fighting skills. Not,
Did you just call Macy a bitch?
I mean, I think she's okay. I think she would be okay with being that. I don't think that she would mind that. To be honest, like she knows what she is.
I'm just messing with you.
Um, but yeah, Miranda Maverick is she's a monster, dude. Monster. Salmon says, was surprised that this one is the curtain trigger. I
Yep.
favor Maverick like most sensible humans, but am okay with any outcome. I think you like Jillian Robertson because of her red hair. We
Right.
learned,
That's the
we learned
smiley
last
face
week
there.
that you're a ginger lover of stamina.
But it's not natural. Does that count? Does that
Yeah,
count?
it's still kind of hot though. She's got that Russian redhead looking type. Dude, speaking of Russian, did you see Valentina's new picture that she put up?
The red dress one?
Oh,
Speaking of Russian.
that
My ears.
that freaking that picture of Valentina Shevchenko, dude.
I just took a quick glance at it, and maybe I'll have to go back and look. It's worth a second look, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, I like it. I like that picture a lot of Valentina.
Okay. Okay, we're getting sidetracked. What's your official pick, Steve? I got
Oh,
round
Miranda
three.
Maverick. Miranda Maverick. She's gonna fucking end it quick. Round
Ooh,
one or two.
quick. All right. What method?
Ground and pound.
All right. All right. I can dig it. I can see it. I can pretty much see Maverick winning in any situation here because that's the kind of skill that she has. Um, but yes. All right. Before we move on, stamina. What is it we got here?
He said, Navi, only K Rock gets the red hair rub. Robertson is not marketable to these eyes. Sorry.
All right. See, he likes the natty redhead.
He does like the natural redheads, which is perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine. And
He's a real ginger lover.
yes, exactly. Because yeah, I wouldn't quite classify Robertson as a ginger as some saying coming from somebody who gets called a
Is a
ginger a
ginger.
lot.
It was
See,
a ginger.
see? So, moving on.
Okay, so Pollyanna Vienna, they said to take on Mallory Martin. We haven't seen the best of Mallory Martin, I don't think.
No,
Yeah, since she's been in the UFC. What, just one fight, or is it two? Is this her third or her
this is
second?
going to be her third fight. She had the Jandaroba loss, which was set up for failure. Set
Yes,
up for
absolutely.
failure
Yeah.
completely, but that was I believe that was short notice, if I remember incorrectly. So the UFC matchmakers aren't that mean. But then after that, Hannah Cyphers, where she got the win, a crazy comeback. Remember, she got lit the fuck up in that first round. Hannah Cyphers really looked excellent in that fight. It just choked it away in the second round, which was very wild. If you guys did not catch that fight, which I'm sure you did, that was August. But yeah, those are Mallory's only two fights in the UFC so far, and we have not seen that signature kind of Mallory Martin performance that we were used to seeing in Invicta, the Ashley Nichols win, even the Tiffany Masters ones were both her aggressive, gnarly ground and pound. and Nicole DeSigne even on
Mhm.
Contender Series. Yeah, I haven't seen it in the UFC just yet, but as
Yeah.
she said, she was kind of sorting some things out in the personal life ahead of
Yeah.
that last one against Hannah Cifers. So now taking on Polyana Viana, who another kind of dangerous stylistic matchup. I don't know. How do you feel about it, Steve?
Well, I like Vienna a lot.
Yeah,
I like her more than Mallory Martin. Um,
really? You've always been high on Martin.
yeah, I have been high on Martin, but I think that Pollyanna Vienna is UFC caliber. We haven't seen it from Mallory Martin yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely fair, especially when you consider like, all right, there's no shame in that Jandaroba loss, but then getting seeing how yes she beats Hannah Cifers, but for Hannah Cifers to fucking style on her early,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's not a good sign. No
yeah.
offense to Hannah Cifers, but we just know where she stands,
No, it's a
right?
complete offense to Hannah Cyphers.
Okay, fine. But yeah,
Martin
and
should have Martin should have won that fight easily, but she didn't.
right.
So we haven't seen the best of Mallory Martin. We haven't seen even close to good from Mallory Martin in the UFC. She barely beat Hannah Cyphers. She lost to Jandaroba, which was a shitty matchup anyway. Terrible matchup. Um, but and dude, she can go 1-2 right now against Polyana Vienna. I can see it happening, and I'm actually leaning Polyana Vienna.
Yeah, no, I like the Viana possibility here too because like
Yeah,
you look at Polyana Viana's run, just really her whole career, I guess, but um in Jungle Fight on her way up to the UFC, submission after submission with a knockout of Amanda Ribas mixed in there, which turns out to be a pretty good victory in
great win.
hindsight.
Yeah,
Um, so then after that, she gets in the UFC, submits Maia Stevenson, which a little bit of a layup matchup, and then takes on JJ Aldrich. JJ a little bit underrated for quite a while now, gets a little bit spoiled there. Takes on Hannah Cifers after that. The Hannah Cifers fight with Viana, actually, who she lost by split decision. I think that was a bit of a I don't know if I want to say robbery, but I definitely thought Viana won that one. That was not a good decision, I don't think. Let's put it that way. I'm not sure if I want to say robbery, but I really think Viana should have got the win in that one. It all came down to that second round where Viana was working from her back, um, landing plenty of strikes. Cyphers were doing nothing on top. It was pretty ridiculous for them to give Cyphers that round, in my opinion. Then after that, she just kind of got caught in that armbar from Veronica Macedo in like
yeah.
what 69 seconds there. Um, that was just kind of getting caught, I think. Of course, it was a bit of bad fight IQ, but then after that, looked fantastic rebounding against Emily Whitmire and showing off, those dangerous submission skills that we have seen from her in the
Another
past.
fighter that she should beat.
Right, exactly. So, and to win it in that fashion was like, that's what you need to do. That's what you
Yeah,
should do. So,
yeah, that's what she should do. Again, this is kind of like a step up in competition for both of them. I think they're pretty. It's pretty even. I think it's pretty even, but I lean Viana.
yeah, I just think that Mallory Martin, her best path to success has proven to be on the ground,
One
ground and
hundred,
pounding people out. No
one
doubt
hundred
about
percent.
it.
That's what she does. That's what she needs to do. And if she gets back on that train, then fucking I'm on it again.
Yeah.
But we need to see it in the UFC. We need to see it against these level of fighters. She did it in Invicta, and that's fine. We need to see it now that she's in the UFC.
That's the problem, though, with this matchup, though, is that in that area, she's risking a lot against Viana, who is very dangerous on the ground, as we've
And
seen
that's
throughout her
why
entire
I'm
career.
leaning Viana, because I think that if
Viana has
Mallory,
never won by decision, dude. That's kind of crazy.
wow,
She's got all finishes. Like, you don't realize how much of a threat she is everywhere, more so with her submission game, but on the
yeah,
feet, she can catch you too. She's capable of landing some very solid shots,
yeah,
especially if she's not pressured heavily. So I think that Mallory has that going for her on the feet, But again, striking technique and all that, I favor Viana a slight edge. But Mallory gets it down. I don't see Mallory working for a submission really or finding an opportunity there. And while she's playing on the ground, she's going to be in risking it. She's going to be risking arm bars, triangles, you name it. Viana will be looking for a finish. She is got a very good killer instinct, as I
Yeah.
just mentioned, with all finishes in her wins, which you don't realize. So yeah, because of that, man, I think that it's a it's a winnable matchup for Martin, no doubt about it, but a risky one if she plays where she's most comfortable, right? And I feel like she'll probably try to do that because she's confident in herself as well, which will backfire sometimes. So I am leaning Viana as well. I think she'll snatch something up, man. She's a finisher. She'll find a submission in round two.
Yeah. Round two.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think that she should probably get the finish in round one or two as well. Maybe not round one because Mallory's tough as shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, as we've seen.
it's
She
either
has that going.
yeah, it's either two or three. So Stamina says I shall defer to your expertise on this pairing. I have no reason to favor either Vanna or Martin. I don't feel neither have wins over anyone that tells me a great deal about them and their ceiling. Well, I do think that they have a good ceiling. Both of them have a good ceiling, and I think we'll see more of
Well,
who has the higher ceiling in this from this the
yeah,
outcome of this fight.
definitely. Because this is another
It's a good fight.
case.
It's a very good fight, though.
Yeah, yeah.
It's evenly matched.
It's one of those cases too where who's fought the better competition? Viana pretty heavily. Like
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Martin is still working
100%.
her way up there.
Yeah.
Maybe not pretty heavily, but I'd give the edge because
For sure.
Martin's best opponent is clearly Jandaroba, and then she fought Macy back in the day, 2017. Not back in the day, but a while ago for
Dude,
her
that was
career.
4 years ago,
Everything.
though.
Yeah,
A
so
long time ago.
and then of course great win for Viana over Hebos, like I said, and just to perform, all of her performances are pretty damn good in her victories. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one. It will tell us a lot about their ceilings, as Stamina said. So good matchmaking, though. I'm not mad at that one. Not mad at that one. And we are on the same page through two. Let's see if we can get them all right this week. Who knows? But all right, on to the co-main event of the evening. What a
Yeah.
fight it
So
is.
Macy Barber and Alexa Grasso, as Drake said, the co-main event. It's getting a lot of heat for that, but it's a very good fight. It's a high-level fight. We talked about Grasso and her boxing. One of the best female boxers in the UFC. Macy Barber, again, very young, very hungry. It's a really good fight. I think it's getting heat though because of who they are and what they are.
Before we talk about this fight, and yes, you are right. When you re-mentioned the boxing thing, I think I should backtrack to that, Yusuf. That was a Yusuf question, right?
Yeah.
Because I completely forgot that Danielle Wolf's in the UFC now. You have to count her, don't you? She's coming
Yeah.
from boxing.
Yeah, I mean, you would. I guess you would, but she
Technically.
hasn't shown it. So
No, not at all. Just had to mention that. Had to throw that out for if anybody trolls us in the comments later on. And I can say I brought it up later on in the show now. So.
okay.
I'm just kidding. We don't get trolls here, thankfully. Love you guys.
No, we don't. Not yet.
No,
We haven't hit it that big yet.
no. But yeah. As for this matchup, getting
I would
some.
love to though.
I know that'd be fun. The critique for this one, silly. People are fucking stupid as always, but it's a fun matchup. Very
Those
fun
are the
matchup.
Stephen A types.
The Stephen A boys. How are you feeling about this one? You got any leans? You feel it's a tough one to call.
I'm leaning Grasso. I'm
All
always
right.
on.
Okay.
I'm always on that Grasso grind. I
All
love
right.
that girl. I love that girl, man.
Well, I know it's another case where I know you've been high on Martin. I know you've been high on Barber as well, higher than me.
Yeah.
So
I am high on Barber, but I mean, I'm higher on Grosso, I guess. You know, but I wouldn't be shocked if Macy came out fucking guns blazing and
She
ends
should. She's got to
and
make
ends Grosso.
Grasso uncomfortable.
Yeah, oh yeah, she 100% has to make Grosso uncomfortable. But does she do that, or does she relax a little bit? I don't want to see a relaxed Macy. I want to see a crazy Macy. Crazy Macy is the best Macy.
Yeah. It's weird, man. You look at, I mentioned how Marina Rodriguez has been a fighter who has been just unmatched in the striking. And Grasso, I don't think has been unmatched to that same level. But if you actually look at her career and just how things have went, for the most part, she's she's often succeeding in striking battles a lot more often than not, right? Like her losses to
Yeah,
Carla and Suarez, those were mainly because of getting out grappled. Then Felice Herrig, yeah, Felice actually did some pretty solid work in the stand up, was jabbing well and all that, but she also took it to the ground. Like
and that
her
was a
losses are
long time ago.
right.
Grosso wasn't at her peak.
Yeah,
Like
that
she's,
was 4 years
you know,
ago as well.
yeah, that was a long time ago. Grosso's a much different fighter.
And at flyweight now, and more comfortable with not weight cutting. Point I was getting at though is that usually Alexa Grasso much more likely to lose when she's taken down. When somebody can actually
Yeah,
control her a bit, and when that doesn't happen, she's most likely gonna win. And even if you want to go way back to a shout out to one of the better fights of all time, the Mizuki fight in 2015, like stellar performance from both ladies. And even though Mizuki was able to get things down in the third round, Alexa was showing some submission threats. And of course, she hasn't really shown much since that because she hasn't needed to. But like, I don't know. It's also one of those cases here, as we just mentioned with Viana and Martin. But in terms of who's fought a higher level competition, this matchup's not even close. Grasso totally has. And I think we were saying that earlier a little bit when we were talking about who has the highest ceiling, and that's why we've just seen Grasso compete against these very talented fighters at
yeah,
a young age too, and still
yeah.
still a young and be able to remain relevant and continue to grow herself. And I really didn't think that the Ji Yeon Kim win was as impressive as a lot of people did. I know yourself included, but it was a solid win. Finding her footing in the flyweight division, and now she's taking on somebody who will she be rusty? Macy's coming back after a decent layoff, knee injury, an ACL tear, something that's always going to be in the back of your head. You would think, at least initially, definitely initially. So it's one of those things, man, where as I mentioned with the striking, it's hard to think about somebody like, especially a prospect still like Macy, getting the better of Grasso in the striking and knocking
Yeah.
her out. Like that's, I bet the odds on that prop got to be pretty large, or maybe not pretty large because there's the hype on Barber, but like I'd be very surprised if, well, I guess if there's a knockout in general here, but like to see Alexa Grasso get outstruck and knocked out, that's a pretty wild thought to think about, and I don't
Should
see it happening.
That should
But
not happen.
but
Alexa Grasso should not get outstruck.
yeah, yeah. Unless, like I said, or like we said, Macy's got to pressure. She's got to really close the distance, make it ugly. Get her backed against the cage and tee
She has,
off.
yeah, she has to fight that nasty MMA fight in this in her return. But again, we don't know what Macy's going to come back. She's been out for a very long time now.
Yep.
But again, she's 22 years old,
Right.
hungry as fuck. Wants to eat. She
Oh,
wants to keep eating. You know.
yeah. Yeah. That is definitely a powerful, element to things. But man, I can't go against, the what we've seen already,
Right.
and looking at all aspects of this, like Grasso of course, had the stumbles early on in her UFC career,
Yeah.
right? Or at the very, just really the Felice Herrig fight. And then, you know, the Randa win was a split decision, but Randa will make any fight closer more often than not. So, and, a difficult matchup for Grasso, but she still got the win there. Yeah, I think that even though Grasso is still young, like we said, she's got more experience and fought better people, been more consistent. It just there's more to like with Grasso,
You
and
know
I
what's
understand.
wild? We're saying all of this, right? We're saying all of this. Macy Barber's the number 10 fighter, while Alexa Grasso's the number 15 fighter in the rankings.
It's kind of funny that she's remained kind of that high while being away. It's like
Well,
they don't
she's
do.
high because they're high on her.
But yeah, but like inactivity is what I mean. Like keeping people around for inactivity.
Because they're high on her. That's why.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna take Grasso by decision here,
So that
unanimous.
would be 2 fights in a row for Macy Barber losing.
Yeah, I mean they're giving her a tough one to return to, man. Tough
Not
one to
good.
return to.
Well, who else is she? She's number 10. They're all tough fights.
Right. Yeah, especially as the division's gotten better since she has been away.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yusuf says Macy needs to be realistic with her goals. The only record she's beating is the youngest fighter to be beaten by the bullet. See, Yusuf, you keep saying that about everybody. We get it. You love Valentina Shevchenko. We get it. Somebody's eventually going to beat her, and your heart is going to break.
calling our man out here.
I love you, Yusuf.
Yusuf is
But
the
it's going to
man.
break.
But
Yusuf, did you see the picture of Valentina Shevchenko that I'm talking about? Did you see it?
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did.
I'm 100% positive Yusuf printed that motherfucker out. It's on his ceiling.
Oh my god.
Okay, so Stamina says Danielle Wolf was getting outstruck by Tanisha Tennant. Throw her boxing credentials in the bin. Straight trash, he says. Also, War Grasso. She's had some difficulty throwing her kill switch, and she'll need it here.
Well, dude.
I need to see Grasso finish. I want it. I want Grasso to finish. Not necessarily Barber though. Like I'm high on Barber. I'm very high on Barber. But yes, I want to see Alexa Grasso finish.
That, like I mentioned earlier, dude, that Carolina performance that she had against her, that was a world champion in that
Beautiful.
fight. That Grasso,
Beautiful.
that is one of my favorite performances ever.
Right.
Just flawless execution there. And you know, somebody who wasn't as tough as Carolina probably would have got finished. Like, there's props to Carolina in that one too, who, you know, was firing back still and able to survive that just hellacious hellfire that Grasso was throwing at her that entire fight. Never slowed down. Just an incredible performance. If that Grasso shows up tomorrow or Saturday, then it's game over. It's no chance whatsoever for Macy. Like, it's just over. Oh, he's throwing some shade back at you.
Yusuf, stay salty. She's not Rousey. She's gonna lose eventually, Yusuf. They all lose eventually.
Well, you're jinxing it. Now she's not gonna.
Unless you're Habib Nurmagomedov.
Unless you're Habib. But anyway, official prediction, Steve. I know we're all in the same boat on this one, but how she get it done?
I'm going Grasso decision.
Yeah.
But I want to see a finish out of her.
That would be nice. It's crazy to think about. Well, I guess not. I mean, historically, Grasso hasn't really been a finisher. You know, her last finish was 2014, and only her second Invicta fight. So.
Yeah, but we need to see that. Like,
it would be good to see. Yeah.
Yeah, she's now number 15. She's ranked in the new division. She's number 15. If she beats a number 10 fighter, dude, she's going up. Her stock levels are going up.
Yeah, she could be one or two away depending on the matchup. I would say two, realistically, but depending on who she would get after a win, you know.
Yeah.
It depends. Things are interesting at 125, as we've been saying. So
yeah.
So all right, we agree for 2 weeks in a row, Steve and I. I mean, for the most part, we generally agree. It's just like one or two flip flops there. So good stuff. Looking forward to all of those. And after just talking about them, I'm a lot more intrigued by how they all play out. So. it'll be interesting stuff on
I like this card.
Saturday.
It's getting shit on. UFC 258's not the best of pay-per-views, but
Phenomenal main event.
oh man, that main event, dude. Usman, Usman and Burns. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful fight. It needs to go to the ground.
Yes, it does.
Stamina says, ha ha ha. Macy would get dealt a cachoeira level beating from Valentin Shevchenko. Anyone can lose on any given day, but short of a studio light falling from the roof, Macy has no way to win a fight like that. Not yet.
Not yet. No, you can't deny what the man's spitting here. So, agreed. All right. So we have reached the conclusion, you guys. A good 2 hours. A lot of time spent on the Twitter mailbag. Kind of love when that happens because it means that there's a lot of interesting things going on that you guys want to talk about. So
I do
keep
love
it
it.
coming.
I
Keep
love
it
questions
coming.
from people. I know I talk shit to you sometimes.
It's all out of fun.
About your Valentina love, but we all have one. We all have a love. And Valentina's yours. It's cute.
All right, you guys, don't forget, follow us, like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you haven't already. I'm sure you have if you're hanging here, but if you haven't and you're new, welcome. It was great to have you here. At Drake Riggs _ for me, at Steve K _ anime for Steve, at The Scrap News for our platform, the lovely team at The Scrap. Give a subscription out, give one to myself as well at youtube.com/Drake Riggs and Steve at MMA Inc. Speaking of which, do you have anything coming, Steve? I know you've been working on some.
Yeah, I have 2 coming this week, and I'm working on 1 or 2 more. They're dropping. They're coming out soon.
Excellent.
And then
More
I'll be doing the
fanboy.
WMMA podcast tomorrow, probably. Yeah, I was going to do it yesterday, but then I decided not to. I'll do it tomorrow.
Very nice. And as for myself, got a lot of interviews coming out here soon. Just dropped, what was that, yesterday? Mengbo. Great discussion with Mengbo. You guys check that one out if you have not yet. Of course, Mengbo, known as the only fighter to have beaten Weili Zhang. And of course, I asked her if she's a little bit annoyed to be referred by that all the time. And she said, yes, it's a little bit annoying, but also an
That's how
honor.
you refer to her. Are you going to stop? So she told you that she's tired of it?
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
No, you're not. You will not respect her.
I had to mention it. Now, okay. But Mengbo, one of the very best out of China right now, riding a 7-fight winning streak, of course, just beat Samara Santos a couple weeks ago at one Unbreakable 1. And, the number 2 ranked atomweight in the one atomweight division, looking to, get a title shot or be a part of that tournament and win that thing. So fantastic stuff with her. She is awesome. You guys definitely want you to check that one out. Then my Marino Rodriguez chat should be coming out here. Maybe it's out now. I'm not sure. Maybe today, this weekend, very, very soon. Tyler Santos, that one is also in the in the can, as they say. And I did speak with one of the OGs who was just a 14-year anniversary yesterday of a very big fight that she had. Julie Kedzie. I spoke to Fireball herself. And I can't say too much about it because it's a part of something. It's a part of something that will be more than just your regular interview. Let's put it that way. But I did do a 10 stupid questions with her, which is always a fun little thing. So that will be out for you guys tomorrow on my YouTube channel. Channel, youtube.com/Drake Riggs. 10 stupid questions with Julie Kedzie. Very fun. And oh yes, I also spoke to Victoria Lee, the 16-year-old sister of Angela Lee. So that was made me feel very old. She is making her debut coming up here in 2 weeks, I believe.
She's so young.
Yeah, it was very weird. She's a junior in high school, dude.
She's so young, dude.
So that will be coming out probably Monday at the very latest. We'll see what happens, but check that out. That'll be on mymanews.com, and that's where the Mengbo one is as well. The Marina Rodriguez and Tyler Santos are on SCMP MMA. A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. But that's just what we do. We're just always rolling, always working, you guys. So with that in mind, take it away, Steve.
All right, so thank you to Yusuf, Stamina, Waleed was here. Alex popped in and said hi. And to whomever else came in, didn't talk to us, but we're watching. And if you watch after we record, I know Juice watches the day after typically. Thank you, Juice, for watching. And whoever else watches, thank you. Without you guys, there would be no WMMA Today show. So until next week, y'all, have a great time watching fights.
Peace.